I'm saying that two other guests on your show are welcome to participate in these anti-Semitic attacks that is so permeating on CNN and MSNBC.
This is so ridiculous. I'm sorry. I have to jump in here. Somebody criticizing you personally is not an anti-Semitic attack. If somebody says that you are lying, that is not an attack on Jews, that is an attack on you. And just stop hiding behind identity. This is all the snowflake behavior that the right is supposedly criticizing the left for, that you're simply repeating here. Yes, Stephen Miller is a destructive force in American society. That is not an attack on Jews. That is no reference to his identity. This is an attack on him individually, and just deal with the merits of this case. And also, when it comes to Mamdani and all the stuff that he said,
let's go there.
Whatever you want to call him, you have to be clear about the fact.
Will bring us the Israeli state, right? That's how we got here in the first place. Let's rewind.
Mamdani, and we should be clear about what Mamdani said in relation to policing in New York and Israel.
How we got here was Jillian very perfectly pointed out that we should not use politics to get here. And immediately we went to the state of Israel.
No, I'm sorry. The state of Israel is not identity politics. That is a foreign government that is engaged in genocide and war crimes. And we're allowed to criticize that without you pulling identity politics into this. It is utterly unrelated. And Mamdani, by the way, he was not asked about 9/11 and just randomly decided to drag his aunt into this. He's talking about Islamophobia specifically in a context in which he is under relentless Islamophobic attacks, including by Andrew Cuomo. And in that context, he brought up the story of his aunt and the fear that she felt living in New York City. That is a legitimate part of the conversation. And you pretending that this was comments about him having disregard for the real victims of 9/11 who actually died on that day is such dishonest smearing against him. And I'll say all the references that Mamdani has made in reference to policing and the IDF is simply pointing out factually that there is collaboration there.
I go to New York a lot. I love New York. And there's no doubt to me that what he has said on the record, Mamdani, about the NYPD is deeply offensive to a lot of New Yorkers. And there's no getting away from that. You know, him saying that about the NYPD, we have to make it clear, when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. That is a really insensitive thing to say.
That is a reference to an actual program where New York City police go to Israel on the dime of the ADL or in collaboration with programs through the ADL so they can train with the Israeli police and the Israeli military. An apartheid repressive state should not be training American police. And yes, some of those brutal tactics do come back to the United States and impact Americans. So simply pointing a factual statement about the fact that there is a problematic program there of collaboration, I think is fair. I think pointing out, frankly, it seems like a statement that should not even be in dispute or question. I don't know what the controversy is. Statistics in America show consistently that brown people and black people are stopped by police more frequently.
Randy Fine, when you said, I don't give a shit about Gazans, were you proud of that statement?
Well, I think the context there is Gaza attacked Israel on October 7th. Of the thousands of people who streamed across the border to kill every man, woman, and child that they could, many of them, thousands of them, were not, quote unquote, card-carrying members of Hamas. And so when you start a war and you are losing the war, if you do not like what that is doing to you, then you surrender in that war. Gaza chose to be the enemy. Gaza chose to attack Western civilization. And no, I didn't care what happened. It was my view that if they didn't like it, they needed to surrender. Israel has the capability to do what it is accused of and chooses not to. Gaza does not have the capability to execute the genocide that it wants to.
Yeah, so as you've seen, he's constantly referring to the Muslims that surround Israel. They're the real problem. It's open bigotry. He's not even hiding it. And then he'll go and hide behind the human shields of good, innocent Jewish Americans and say, oh, no, if you criticize Israel, you're actually criticizing Jewish Americans, which no one did. It's the dirtiest trick in the using the anti-Semitism card to protect his form of terrorism that he supports, which Jewish Americans do not support. And so he says it's okay to kill the Gazans, which is collective punishment. He's not only said to nuke them and starve them, but he just said it right here on this air. He's a deeply sick man who wants to put a moral stain on this country by forcing us to fund the genocide of the Palestinians. They have already done 75 October 7th, but it's never enough murder for Randy Fine. They've already killed a stadium full. Imagine 20,000 murdered children lit on fire. Their heads exploded. Israel did all of that. And Randy Fine is saying it's not enough. Americans, go work another shift. because you got to send Israel more money to kill more Palestinian children and put that on America's soul. Don't listen to this guy. He doesn't believe in America. His whole point is to make sure that we fund his beloved Israel and their sick, disgusting terrorism.
Just call me a dirty
Israel
Jew.
is the largest terrorist entity.
Trot it out. Come on, just
nobody
do it.
said that. You're the only one who says it. You're the sick, disgusting Muslim bigot.
Come on.
No one wants anti-Semitism. The only person who wants anti-Semitism is you, because you want to hide behind it. You bring up your yarmulke when no one else did. No one minds your yarmulke, except you brought it up as if like you're some sort of victim. You're the one who wants to nuke over 1 million people.
I'm not a victim at all.
You're not a victim.
I relish
You're a disgusting terrorist sympathizer.
Like you.
And you should not be inside the United States Congress. You are a stain on this country.
And all of your fellow invaders
you are trying to occupy America, so you steal our money
I was born here.
to send money over to Israel to steal Palestinian and Arab and Muslim land. And on top of that, Piers, one thing that's important is pro-Israel people like Randy Fine have spread hatred and fear of Muslims in this country my entire life. They have tried to get everyone to hate Muslims so that they could say, oh, look, now that Israel is defending Western civilization, you should murder all the Muslims and you should let Israel take all of their land because we are defending Western civilization. And then they have the audacity to complain about anti-Semitism.
Do you mind if I make one closing remark?
They are the biggest bigots in the country.
If you need
this is a guy who's advocating literally for mass murder.
Randy.